Hi there. Okay. All right.
Hi
We ready?
there. Hello.
Are you ready then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Three, two. Oh, all right. I think we finally got the last cart back, and last Butch and Mortar is being ranched out right now for the top of the south wall. How are we doing out here, folks?
Ooh, I think we have a problem.
What happened?
We,
Problem?
we're
Yeah, well, I'm tired of those.
we seem to be locked out.
Are you sure? Here, let me check the door again.
Okay.
Nope, that's definitely locked. That's definitely
Yeah.
locked.
Drew was supposed to be watching the Divins.
You mean
I
the guy up there in a hammock and an umbrella and sipping some fruity drink?
Oh
Did he know this?
goodness. Oh man. Well, now what?
I don't have my Abbott's key on me. It's at
What?
my office.
Oh no.
Mm.
Supposed to come with you. Oh.
Okay, so first, the south wall collapses again.
Uh-huh.
The four of us have to rebuild it from scratch. It's taking us months and
Yep.
months, and by
Uh-huh.
the time we're almost finished, we get knocked out by the Divins.
Yep.
After countless trips to Loamhedge Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
Salamander Strong said they won't give us any extra help anymore. I think we've abused the privilege.
yeah, after
Yeah.
that incident last time with the hair and the dormouse.
We don't want to
Well,
talk
Don't remind me, I still have the nightmares.
well, who's got a deck of cards?
about
I mean, I do, but these are my nice cards. We are not playing with these on dirt.
Oh.
All right. Well, we could argue about something.
I
So we do
mean,
best.
how about best series villains?
Ooh, okay.
Why not?
Okay.
And we're actually doing this in March, so hey, that's a thing.
Hey, woo!
Yeah. March Madness in March.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
novel.
Okay. So, what do you got for us, Matthias?
I have same as we did last time when we did the March Madness brackets for the books. Only we have a full bracket here for villains.
Oh,
As you recall, last time I described how, in order to make the math work, we have to give one entrant a pass into the semifinals. So this time around, that free pass is Clooney because he's the OG.
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
So we'll be sticking to the same rules as last time, 5 minutes of discussion, no more. And we'll be doing 3 villains going in the first round, one from the like original like OG books. Then we got like the Brian is hitting his stride sort of books, and then we have the new era that people tend to argue aren't as good. So
Sounds
we
good.
got a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So in the first round, we have Zarmina, Emperor Ublaz, and Ragabol.
Ooh.
I don't remember which.
Okay. I would say
I can remember who Ragable is. Give me a second.
toss Ragable out.
Yeah.
Loam Hedge. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree.
One I haven't read.
Yeah. So I think Sarmina is unique, well, because she was the first official female villain. I think literally because in Redwall there weren't even any female villains that were mentioned, except
Mhm.
for in some editions of Redwall where Kilcony somehow becomes female for a while and then turns back to male, which I don't think counts.
Are we not counting
Yeah.
Sayla? Are we not getting Sela, the fox? The fox lady?
Oh, yes, that is true.
Okay.
I guess she was she. I guess she was
First
kind of
boss female villain. Let's go with
yeah,
that.
the first boss.
Yeah.
It's been a
the
while since I
first,
read Redwall.
the first big bad evil guy was female.
Yes.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to a competition between Zarmina and Emperor Ublaz, here's the question. Is Zarmina crazy enough to ignore Emperor Ublaz's hypnotic stare?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, considering she thought like a random henchman was her brother, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, that's a good point.
See, I'm
So
going in the
you're
other direction.
psychically
here.
weak.
I'm going in the other direction here, where it's like the Joker in DC Comics. Like, there's a reason mental powers don't work on him. He's just too darn nuts.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, if
So
we're talking, if we're talking absolute strength of will here, yeah, Sarmina would definitely have a shield against that. Because she knows what she wants, boss babe, cliche, whatever you want to call it. But
agreed.
as far as Ublaz goes, the best, his best trump card is what? The snake? And it
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly. He doesn't do his
no.
own work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he stares at people until they say yes.
But I know people who can do that, but
To be fair,
Right.
he didn't he delegated actually going out and getting the pearls in the first place. He didn't do it himself. Sarmina will get her hands dirty.
Yes.
Hmm.
Also, I just think of Ublaz being like, I would, if I had the pearls right now, I would stride out with him in my crown and everyone would bow to me. I'm like, you think having 6 pearls in your crown would make everyone bow to you? Why? Like his plan is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think Sarmina's going to be my vote.
I think
Yeah,
so.
Sarmina's my
Mine
vote
too.
too.
Yep.
All right. Sarmina wins. 4 votes. It's unanimous. All right. Next round. Slagar the Cruel, Demog Warfang, and Gulo the Savage.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, now this
So-
is much more of a challenge. All right,
Okay.
5 minutes
Mhm.
start.
All right. So as much as I love Long Patrol, I did not think Damig was a great villain. Like he was fine, but I think Gulo and Slagar are much more interesting.
Here's the thing. I think Slagar's first move would be to try and out-talk both Damog and Gulo and try to go for the diplomatic quote-unquote strategy.
Mhm.
And I don't think he would immediately go to violence because he is inherently not a very strong villain. I mean, why else does he
Physically.
kidnap children
Yes.
and have
Yeah.
a whole gang back him up? So I think in an out-and-out fight, he's the first one to lose. But I think in a competition of wits, he's the clear victor. So
Yeah.
his
But-
first move is to see if he can use that silver tongue of his.
Right.
He's more of a
Question is, would
survivor,
Gulo
if you
listen?
will.
My point is, would Gulo listen? Because he's pretty single-minded. Like, and I mean that both in a complimentary way where he knows what he wants and will go for it, and also incredibly stupid way because of all the villains we're talking, he is definitely not the brightest.
Well, he does listen
He's-
to Captain Shard,
Yeah,
sort of.
but he's as I heard quoted recently, he's a couple eggs short of a dozen and doesn't realize that all of those eggs are secretly rocks.
But does it matter sometimes? He's just brute force.
No, it doesn't matter in the slightest. He's original Legend of Zelda Ganon, just like
Yeah.
big giant brute.
And Damage Strike comes from basically his horde. Not that he couldn't briefly go toe to toe with Krega with emphasis on brief.
Yeah.
But he also was pretty fooled pretty easily by a disguised hair, and
That's a good point.
so yeah, after all this considered, I think my vote will be Slagar only because he is probably one of the most intelligent villains to while he's not certainly capable of violence, he doesn't go for it as his first element. And that's actually pretty smart.
Yeah. And I'm going to go with,
Yeah,
if it's a competition of wits, Slagar. If it's a competition of strength, Gulo. So I'm splitting my vote between each of them, half a vote each.
Complicated.
Ooh, I was doing Gulo. Just that was my knee-jerk reaction, and I feel like I'm sticking to it just in terms of total force available to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, in and of himself, at least. Also, he might eat them.
Yes. Yes.
I think I'm gonna go with Slagar just because I think he's a very fast talker, and Gulo did listen to Shard sometimes, so I think that Slagar would be able to talk Gulo down at least enough to like get away or do some sort of plan.
Redirect
Yeah.
would be a better way to put it. I don't think you could talk him down from a single mooted goal, but he could redirect that goal.
Yeah.
So we have 2.5 votes to 1.5 votes.
Yeah. So
I'm not upset about this one.
Yeah. Gulo is
Slagar.
biggest reason Gulo is notable is because although we didn't get it, he was a potential one who could have gone toe to toe with the Badger.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
would have been cool.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think Slagar is going to be our winner. After all, I mean, if we're giving Clooney a pass into the semifinals, he had both strength and wit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think once we get into some of these subsequent rounds, we're going to start to see some smarter villains.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh sure.
specifically, that's very good foreshadowing for the next round. Because I think in the brains department, we have two very strong contenders, and we have a very weak contender.
Uh-oh.
We have Gabul the Wild,
Oh,
Rigu Felis,
Mm.
and the entire brood of Marl foxes.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, I am totally not looking these guys up on
No,
Wikipedia
me
to
neither.
remind myself here. Okay, so we have Gabul the Wild, Rigophilus. For reference, he was the big bad in, is it Triss?
Hyrule Lane.
Hyrule Lane. He's the one that got his face, the cat that got his face ripped off.
Yeah. I'm tempted to kind of toss him out, but
He is a cat, though. He is big.
he's a cat, yeah, but I think he thinks he's a lot smarter than he actually is.
Granted, but I mean, compared to Gabul, I think Rigu would dwarf him both in the mental and physical capacities. The only thing that Gabul brings to the fight is he has drunk sword foo.
Yes.
It does count for a lot.
As someone else would have put it, of all the Redwall villains, Gabul is probably the best person to have with you in a bar fight. Yes. But Gabul has a major weakness here, and I'm surprised none of his captains put it together. If they all left that island, he'd have no power.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't mean he can't fight, but no man can, do it all by himself.
Yeah. King is nothing without people to delegate to. So, the same notion, Rigophilus is a island warlord. So we have had exactly the same issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, the Marl foxes are the exact same. They're just a family of warlords.
Everyone's got their own little fiefdom, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but like they travel though. The Marl foxes like actually go places.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got cult rats who, the rats are actually I think we discovered talked about in the building, like, we don't know what compels the rats to act quite so cultish, but they very much are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. My initial thought was Marl Fox's win, but then I'm like, they're just gonna end up turning on each other at some point in this
Yep.
whole altercation.
Yes.
They probably would, but here's the thing. In the short span of time that they are working together, do you think they could take down a wildcat?
Is
If
that
it's a team
enough?
effort, yes. But if we're talking down to like maybe smaller groups or even one-on-one, at best, Mocan can win. Or maybe one of the more beefy brain dead ones. What was his face? Was it Geltor?
Geltor, yeah.
Maybe if we're talking one-on-one fight. But if they're working together as a team, they definitely have the advantage. But that's just the problem. None of them. They didn't really work very well as a team.
They worked better in pairs than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If any single one of them is the smartest, it's Lancer back home, kind of. But if we're assuming the basic 6-person team that we saw in the book, she's not present. So, this is tough.
Yeah.
I think my vote would be Kabul. Yes, he's crazy as a loon. Yes, his power is dependent on keeping those captains loyal, which takes, they really need, they really think that those captains would know better, but hey, whatever. And I am not giving Kabul the benefit of the giant scorpion to do this. I think he is a standard good enough fighter on his own right that, as worrying as a wildcat or it would be, he probably would come out on top. Because Rigu strikes me as someone to underestimate a rat.
Yes. Well, he underestimated a bird, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, like I said, he doesn't exactly have absolute loyalty from the pirate corsairs, but Gabul is willing to get his hands dirty as well, rather than just send hordes of rats. So I think Gabul is going to be my vote here. And again, I would happily vote for the Marl Foxes if we had evidence of them working together well enough. We don't.
Yeah, I'm going Gabul. He has the management skills of being able, like you said, being able to do what he tells other people to do are enough.
I think I want to go with the Marl Foxes just because, we did see, I guess not all of them, but a good number of them in that ambush with the Red Wallers, which was working until the shrew showed up. So they did do things. And also, I think that, their whole disappearing act would make Gubul very superstitious. I don't think Riga Felix would fall for it, but I think Gubul might, especially if he's had a lot to drink. Be like, whoa,
No
magic!
problem. Yeah.
Whoa, dude, it's like Magic Foxes, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Gabul canonically now sounds like Surfer Michelangelo.
I'm also going to vote for the Marl Foxes because
Okay.
I think just strength in numbers when it's just pure combat, when it's 7 foxes with big sharp axes versus 1 wildcat, the wildcat's going to lose at least 1 limb in the process of taking down half of them.
Yeah.
All
And
it takes
so
is
you
taking
can
down
go
for
another limb,
So,
and then he's done.
okay. Honestly, if based on that, rethinking this. Let's just sake of argument say the Marl Foxes went to Kabul's island in this scenario. I think their presence, the other captains would run to them because Kabul does, again, commands no loyalty. So I will break the tie and go Marl Foxes.
Okay.
All right.
3-1. Marl Foxes.
I don't know that we have a good tiebreaker mechanism. So,
I know, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Okay. Round 4.
next-
Farago the Assassin,
Ooh.
Viludasker, and then a little bit of a wild card in here. We have a combination of Vizca Longtooth and Grunton Curdley.
Oh my
I had to do it for the
goodness.
memes.
I gotta remember
Had
how
to
to
do it.
spell these guys. Farago, Vriska, and who was the third there?
Third one is Farago, Viludasker, and then Vizca Longtooth and Grunton Curdley together.
Okay. So, for those listening at home, we are talking obviously Farago the Assassins from the book Salamandastron, Viludaskar from the book Legend of Luke, who was, Luke's big bad, and Visca is from Eulalia. So,
Yep. And Curdley as well. I think these are all promising villains except for Curdley. I think he really
I
brings
threw him in
Visca
there
down.
for the memes
Yes.
because he is Big Egg.
Yeah.
This is challenging because Farago is good with his tongue as much as he is with his knives. And
Yes.
he's not
Mhm.
above calling in
Mhm.
the B team with the poisoner guy. So
Yes.
he does see practical sense in some of his plans too.
But also, Viludasker is a pirate and learns to, run a very tight ship. No pun intended.
No,
Meant
that's
very
not
literally.
intended.
So, his only real weakness is he let Luke drive the ship.
Yep.
Yes. I think he got a little bit arrogant at the end there.
Mm-hmm. So
Point of
I
clarification here.
suppose
Oh, go ahead.
Vilu's, ultimate downfall because of his ego would probably put him at a disadvantage against Farago.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Couple of points of clarification here. Is Farago allowed to call Klitsch into play, or is it just solo?
Mm.
We'll say because he's his son, we'll let it pass, I think.
Okay. I'm not going to give him Farron the Poisoner. That was only a point. He's willing to ask for help when he needs it. So
Yeah.
And
And by ask, we mean cajole his son into doing a thing, and he's like, but I don't want to, Dad.
yeah. I mean, I was going to say they have an antagonistic relationship, but is more affectionate than some of the father-son vermin relationships we've seen, which isn't saying much.
setback at the time. Setback at the time. Farago clearly values Klitsch as an heir,
Yes.
but I don't think there's love. I don't think there's love there.
No.
Nah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think. Oh, and Visca Longtooth he's smart and he's dangerous. And he does get chummy with his crew a little bit, which is interesting because we don't always get that. Curdley is meh, he's Curdley. He's just there. He likes eggs.
Yes.
Gotta count for something.
Maybe. Yeah. I think I'm gonna vote for Farago. He is dangerous and he also is really good with knives.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Farago as well.
Thirded.
Yep. Me too.
All
All
right.
right. Unanimous for Zip. Farago.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Round 5.
I will be curious to see where this next one goes.
Uh-oh.
We have Badrang the Tyrant,
Mm-hmm.
Ungat Drun, and Corvus Skur.
Corvus Skur wishes he was a really good villain. He's just not.
But he's a bird and he can fly, which you can't say
Yeah.
about the other two.
Spell Corvus. Yeah.
Korvus.
K. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm edgy. I'm gonna spell my own classification wrong of my name. It's C.
You know, I've never read Doomwhite in Braille, so I did not know that.
Yeah.
And just listen to the
Corvid.
audiobook.
Corvid is the species taxonomy name for crows
Right.
and ravens and whatnot. So
I just assumed it was
Okay.
spelled with a C.
okay. Okay. So okay. This is the one case where I think, all things being equal, I don't think we want to consider armies at their back, because all three of them actually have decent command over their armies until they don't.
Yes.
So that is, I think we need to eliminate it as a variable between the three.
Sure.
Agreed. Because, I mean, Ungat would bring his literal horde of 1,000 to bear, and I don't think anybody could stand against that. That's kind of unfair.
It's
I
not
think there were
numbers
actually.
It's here. It's tactics.
I think there were actually more than 1,000 in his.
Mm.
There's like a lot. I will say for Badrang, he was very good about keeping his head. Like even when Martin's giant army came, he was like, "Don't panic. We're gonna do this." I mean, obviously, it didn't work out for him that great, but he's like, "We're gonna do this. They die like anyone else. It's gonna be fine." So like he's very level-headed and pragmatic, strategic. Trun kind of lost it a little bit. Of course, they were being starved, so
Yeah.
I mean, he
was
had
paying
stress.
max affections at the same time, which probably didn't help his mood.
And I think Corvus was just detached. Like he didn't care what was happening. Like he's just like, Ballas, oh, that didn't work. Oh dear. Well, I'm just going to hide in my reptile den with my cockroaches.
And
Yep, pretty much.
let's also not forget Corvus was heavily influenced by the snake ground lady Sakaris. So
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
we're talking full-on Grandma Wormtug here. So but I mean, not that being listening to your people is not a bad thing, as Ungat really should have. But if you're being overly influenced, it's also a problem too.
And he's very
So-
superstitious.
Yeah, it's
Between
bad
the-
luck to be superstitious.
So that said, underling management, I would have to give the vote to Badrang because he's smart enough to recognize talent. He's smart enough to recognize deception when it's coming from his own people. Sorry, the fox he put on the rack or tickle torture in the cartoon. But
He made it pretty far with his little building plans.
yeah,
Hmm.
Badrang is smart enough to be very good at underling management, at least better than the other two. If we're talking straight fight,
one Ungut Trun was formidable.
I think Islo toe-to-toe with a badger, even for a
Yeah,
short
exactly.
while.
if we're talking
Yeah.
raw physical strength, Young Guy wins. It's not even a question.
Mhm.
But if we're talking who will survive the battle the longest, I think it's Corvus because he's a bird and he can fly away.
Yes. That's
So we're left with
Yeah.
3 very good contenders for 3 different fights.
Yeah. These are based on like conditions, basically.
Yeah.
That said, I think my vote is for Badrang, not because, not just because I read Martin the Warriors, my first book, but because he tends to be smart enough to know when he needs to get his hands dirty, when he can delegate, and can see deception coming even from Clog, who, all intents and purposes, is as smart as he is.
Yeah. Fair.
So
I think I'm going to vote for Badrang as well, just because, I mean, like I said, he's very strategic. He's a jerk. Like, he killed Rose,
absolutely.
which I will never forgive him for.
Wait, she dies?
She dies.
Rose dies?
No.
Rose dies.
Old running gags have come back.
We better go catch him then.
Oh.
So, yep. All right. So, how many votes do we have? That's 2 for Badrang.
That's
Right?
2 votes for Battering so far.
I was voting Corvus for the wild card. And
There you go.
he can bring.
And honestly, if we're just just pure combat, I'm going with Ungetron.
2 to 1 to 1.
Nice.
So
Yep.
again,
Batarang wins.
Batarang wins, but also Batarang is, I won't say he's good as Silver Tongue as other villains, but he's not unintelligent either. He knows
No.
when to
Mhm.
stand his ground and when to redirect. So, all right, Batarang wins.
Yep. All right. Round 6. This one is going to be tricky. Before I list all of the combatants, Tagarung is in this one, which has all of the different Juska clans. So, how do we
Yeah.
want to play this?
I mean, to this point, we've only been focusing on a story, Big Bads, because we skipped Ironbeak from Metameo.
Yep.
So, the question is, who is the biggest bad?
I mean, if we're thinking about someone who was there from the beginning to almost to the end, Grisul would be an interesting choice. I just don't know if she'll count as a villain.
And also, if we're talking about characters who is like antagonistic from beginning to end, it'd be Grooven.
Yes.
Which
that's Lady Starscream, right?
Well,
Yeah,
no, that's
that's
her
her son.
son.
Oh, right. That's challenging.
I guess Grooven would be because Sonny Wrath doesn't last very long.
Nope.
Yeah, so I think Grooven is more of a villain than Grisul because I don't know, I really like Grisul, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can do Seers. Yes, them scheme, but rarely do they actually try to take the throne themselves.
right.
So
Yep.
I would also vote for Grooven. And the whole reason I'm not, the only other option is Rugged Boar, but I'm not bringing him forward because, one, we didn't get much of him, and two, for all intents and purposes, if he didn't smell blood, respectively blood in the water around Redwall after he earned the title of Tagarung, he wouldn't have bothered. I have every belief he would have just turned his army around, said thanks, and left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's not stupid.
Nope. Because that was the book that reminded everybody, hey, don't mess with Redwall.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say Grooven is going to have to be our big bet because not only he's certainly a physical threat in his own right to some degree, but he has some ability to command, but not much.
He's just so pathetic and cowardly. He's not
Yep.
going to win.
No,
He is not going to win, especially when I tell you who the other combatants for this category are.
All right, go.
Ergen Nagru,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
and then the pairing of Valea Sable Queen and Zwilta Shade.
Okay.
Now, for clarification, are you giving Ergen backup from his wife?
I think in this case we kind of have to, but she's not much of a combatant, so I don't think she's going to be that much of a help, but she'll be there. And I guess, if we're giving Ergen Nagru Silvermord, we should give Grooven his mother, Antigra, just because.
All right.
Mama and Mama's boy.
No, he hated
that's
her.
fair.
Well, yes, but at the same time, everything she did ostensibly was for him. Cough, cough. Definitely not for herself. Cough, cough.
No,
Yes.
no.
As we established, she's Cersei Lannister or Starscream, whichever one you prefer.
Weirdly, my inclination is toward Valea and Zwelt.
Yeah, me too.
Just because they're interesting. They're like Valea's very I mean, she does lose her composure toward the end, but like she's got a plan. And Zwilt is just so terrifying and intimidating, but he actually can fight. Like,
Yes.
he's also one of those that is not just all talk. Like, if he says he's going to kill you, he's going to kill you.
Moreover, they
And
work.
he's
actually
probably not
work
going to tell you that he's going to kill you. He's more likely to look at you and say, "Good job." And then as soon as you're grinning and turning your back, he's ramming his sword through your chest.
Right.
No monologuing.
Right,
Nope.
and here's I would agree that I would all agree to all points here because they actually work well together. It's not
Yeah.
exactly a great friendship or relationship there,
Yeah.
but they will work together for the end goal. Ergen and his wife.
Antagonism.
Oh, no, this is a political
Nope.
marriage gone sour.
Yes.
It really is. Uh, yeah, they are as much working against each other the whole time as until they finally realize, hey, we might want to put our antagonism aside for 2 minutes,
Right.
and then
Yep.
it's
And-
really too late.
And Grooven is just awful. And Antigra is, I mean, she's smart, but she's got to work with Grooven, and Grooven just brings her down.
Right? You
Yes.
think she would have
Agreed.
raised a little bit more brains into him, but hey, what do I know?
Yeah, so surprisingly, since Sable Queen is not one of my favorites, but I'm going to vote for Zwilt and Vilea.
Seconded.
Yeah.
Thirded. It's unanimous. There we
That was
go.
easy.
Sweet.
That was
I didn't
easy.
expect that one. Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
No?
It was interesting, though.
Yeah.
And finally, round 7, because 8 is a free pass for Clooney to the next round. Swart Sixclaw, Razid Weret,
Bleh.
and Princess Kurta with Plug Firetail.
See, I have a soft spot for Plug Firetail.
As do I.
Mm-hmm.
I love his antagonism. I don't like Kurta, but I love his antagonism with Kurta so much.
It's so good.
Yes. Also, Razid is just like I don't even want to say he's like a good villain. He's just a bad
Throw him
villain.
out.
Like
Just
He's
throw
a-
him out.
he's a bad boss. Like
He's
nobody
the
likes
worst
him.
boss. Nobody likes this guy.
And
Honestly,
Swart,
honestly, throw Razid out. Like
yeah.
he should have learned his lesson of after taking on the Sea Otters the first time and didn't.
Yes.
So yes, while vengeance is a thing in this franchise, yeah, I
Yeah.
Swart is many things, but he's at least politically savvy, which is more than him. So
Yes. I do think Swart is smart and he is but I think Nightshade helps him out a lot. Like he's got
yeah.
he's got the woman chasing after him, just picking up his messes.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go with Plug Firetail and Kurta.
So it's hard to argue for Swart because there are times he was incredibly intelligent about it, and crimes he was incredibly stupid.
Mhm.
Like literally the end of that book, very end of the book, when he has met his son, and Vale points out, like, you in literally what we call the Dr. Evil and Scott moment, you really should just kill him, and he doesn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? It comes back to bite him. So, and while I'm definitely going for the Plug and Kurta, is Plug leads by respect. It is darned
Yeah.
rare in this
Mhm.
franchise to see that. So he has more genuine loyalty than almost every other villain.
Yep, except for Clog. Yeah.
I would say out of all of the bad guys, he's up there as top 3, quote unquote, best bad guys
Yeah.
as opposed to worst. Because I mean, if you had a run-in with him, I'd say it's a coin toss whether or not you'd walk away with your life. But that's more than you could say for most of these other bad guys
Yeah.
that would most certainly, do more than maybe rough you up a bit and steal your boots.
And let's be honest, we all have a bias against Swart for, what he did with his wife. So
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will also vote Kurta and Plug Firetail. If not for Plug Firetail, then because Kurta is, for all of her failing against Triss, actually knows how to use a sword. She might not be proficient, but she knows how to use it.
Yes.
I was
Semifinals.
thinking with Razid, you can't kill him.
I mean, you
I
can,
mean, you can, but he's a lot harder to kill than it seems.
but he's also
So
just terrible.
Is Razid your vote then?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
yeah.
So that's a 3-1 for Kurta and Plug Firetail. And with that, because Clooney moves on automatically, we have made it through the first round, down to the semifinals.
Cool.
So for the first semifinal round will be Sarmina versus Slagar.
Oh,
Oh
Who
no.
Slagar? I don't think
That's
he's
a
gonna fall
challenge.
apart ultimately.
I mean, I've just had
Yeah.
this image of Sligar chasing her with a spritz bottle, but
Exactly. He's very
Oh,
afraid
that's
of
good.
water. We know this.
That's good. Yeah, I think the only reason Slagar was killed is he was like trying to hastily make an exit and he didn't pay attention to where he was going.
That and he could if he had stayed hidden from the heroes, he would have gotten away with it. So
I would have
Yeah.
gotten away with that too if it hadn't been for my pesky ego and you might.
I think I'm gonna go with Slagar as well.
I mean, both of them were crazy at the end. Like literally,
Yeah.
Sligar was saying,
Mhm.
"Like sword is magic. Whoever holds it is automatically." Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was not than a fruitcake at that point. Cool.
As cool as I think Slagar is, I have to go with Sarmina simply because when she, basically has like the madness equivalent of Blood Wrath, I don't think Slagar can do anything to stop her.
Much less Sligar doesn't go for straight fights unless he has to.
Yeah.
That's true.
Whereas Sarmina will step onto the field. So yeah, I'm gonna vote Sarmina. We have a tie.
You know what? I'll change my mind. You guys have convinced me. I'm gonna go with Sarmina too.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Whoa!
Whoa!
That's
Okay.
a good
The
one.
power of debate.
Plot twist.
Tim Curry only gets you so far, Sligar. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was largely influenced. I'm in a tabletop group. We're doing the TTRPG for the board game Root, and I'm playing a fox heavily inspired by Slagar.
Nice.
Nice.
So unfortunately, my inspiration must fall. I salute you, sir. For as terrible as you are also voiced by Tim Curry.
all right.
Okay.
Next one.
Next round will be the Marl Foxes versus Farago. And since there's more than one fox, we will give Farago the benefit of Glitch and a handful of minions.
And Farron the
Because we know
Poisoner?
he actually has those. I mean, do we want to include Farron the Poisoner?
We didn't last time, so no.
Yeah, but there's more people this time. I don't know. They're both kind of tricksy, slippery.
Yeah.
Well, they're
I
both
think-
in this case. Point.
I think in this case, the fact that Farago, unlike the Marl Fox's previous combatants of Gabul and Riguphelis, is less likely to notice them camouflaging themselves. I think they would use their terrain to their advantage, and I think they'd have an easier time utilizing that to its fullest extent.
Yeah.
As much as I want Farago to continue on, yeah, I'm going to have to give it to the Moral Foxes.
Mhm.
Because we already know that the Moral Foxes back up with the rats, they are cult levels of following.
Mm.
And Frago, at best, he definitely had dissension among his own ranks.
Yeah.
If nothing else from the people who tried to straight up murder him, his own son works only with him so far.
Mhm.
So I much as I love the new Farago, I will give it to the Moral Foxes on this one.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I will too.
Wow, that was surprisingly unanimous.
There's a clean sweep on that one.
I also think I know the outcome of this next one. This is pretty clear cut, in my opinion. Badrang versus Valea and Zwilt.
Battering.
Mm. I'm trying to come up with a way to argue against this.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go with Badgering too.
I'm going to argue because Valea has that poison dagger. All she has to do is scratch him once. He's only one, and they are two. And with Zwilt doing the same kind of Marl Fox disappearing shenanigans, I think he would probably go find some corner to hide in and just let Valea and Badrang take each other out.
I mean,
I'm with you, man.
yeah. You know, I think you might have
Their,
converted me.
their teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, or in this case, betrayal makes the team work.
Yeah.
I maintain Battering. I really think he's the smarter group here, but so what does that make it 3-1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wow, I did not expect it to go this far.
Neither did I. And then finally, for semifinal round 4, Kurta and Plug Firetail versus Clooney.
Oh no.
Oh.
Mm.
Hmm.
This one is going to be interesting because Clooney has been a wild card up to this point. We haven't seen him fight.
He's really good at fighting.
Yeah, which he can do very well.
Yes.
He knows how
Yes.
to ride a horse.
Mhm.
What's a horse?
We also know that he is not only bigger than most rats, but he knows how to use that bulk to his advantage. And I'm just going to come out and say it. He is intimidating as heck.
Yeah.
He does have only one eye though. So if it was Plug and Kurta, they could potentially get on his blind side.
Potentially. The question is Clooney one of those fighters who's learned to compensate for his ocular limitation?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
I think
Portuguese
so.
are very good at that, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I think Clooney would be smart enough to be very suspicious of Valea because she's not physically imposing. So he
Isn't
would
it
probably guess that she would use poison or some kind of underhanded trickery.
Plug and Kurta?
Plug, why did I say Valea? I'm still stuck on the last round. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
good.
tired.
It happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, Plug and Kurta.
I think Clooney could outsmart both Plug and Kurta.
It would take a lot of cunning, but or he would recognize Plug as the greater threat early on. So
I think Clooney. It's just because it's Clooney.
Yeah.
Clooney is going to be hard to argue against. Let's be honest.
Clooney is yeah.
Mhm.
He's got some intangibles.
So is everybody voting for Clooney?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. 4-0 Clooney. Okay. This is going to be interesting because going into the finals, we have the 4 fighters entering have 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, and 3-1 respectively.
Oh,
Mm.
So this is going to be, I don't want to say heated, but this will definitely be spicy.
cool.
So Sarmina versus the Marl Foxes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hmm.
I would like to vote for Sarmina, but it's hard to consider that. Oh no, I don't know because what's his face? Who did she take in and steal his troops? What was his name?
Bane.
Bane.
Nay, thank you. You adopted the dog.
Yes. I was hoping someone would do that.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist. So she's smart enough to recognize talent, and then smart enough to get rid of it
Yes.
if it stands in her way. So I don't think she would rush to violence against Moral Foxes initially. But Moral Foxes aren't stupid either. They would be looking for first they would be one to raid the castle for goods because that they're thieves first before they're murderers.
Right.
Mhm.
So this is a really tough one.
I would say, given the fact that previously in the competition, they took down another Wildcat, Rigu Felis, that would give them the edge in this case against another Wildcat.
hmm
So in terms of combat, they could probably take down Sarmina with heavy attrition. But I also think, in terms of breaking in, their skills are comparable to that of Gomph. So if it comes to like a capture the flag type situation, they also win. And if it comes to negotiations,
hmm
I'd say Mokan has a pretty silver tongue.
Yeah.
Yes. However, she may be able to convince them to betray each other better because she knows how to betray your own family members.
There is that.
Eh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is an excellent point.
And if we know that the Moral Foxes only work together so far as it's useful to them, I think I am going to go Sarmina.
Yeah. Now I'm just picturing her turning all the Marl Foxes against each other.
Exactly.
And I think
Because
she can
she
do it.
herself would look at the dynamic and say, I recognize this between my brother and myself, and I don't
That's-
like him, so let me just push
Yep.
some buttons.
Yep. I think I'm going to go with Sarmina.
I have to go with Sarmina. You've
I
convinced me.
If she doesn't just try to go at them all at once, she would probably identify Mokan as the most dangerous, and either work with him or work with the next most dangerous to undermine him, and then just one after another.
Yep, daisy chain
Yep.
together. I would say in almost any other matchup, the Marl Foxes would probably win. Yeah, you managed to convince me. Yeah, Sarmina all the way. So
Styles
that
make
is-
fights here.
I'm going to
So-
let this ends up being Sarmina versus Clooney.
yeah, it looks like it's heading that way.
Uh-oh.
Now my brain was kind of headed towards this direction. We have Clooney versus Volea and Swilt, which is where I was going last round. My brain was leapfrogging ahead.
Okay, so Valea has poison. Clooney also has poison.
Yes.
And Clooney's not
The
afraid
question-
to. Clooney's a lot less afraid to just actively employ it more readily. She's a lot
Yeah.
more stealthy about this.
hmm
So the question is, could Clooney figure out that, hey, she's probably going to use poison? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I also think Clooney is very fast. so he could possibly dodge. Like if he see, like, I think he's very cunning. Like he would like notice her reach for something.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here's the question I was thinking about. Pragmatically, did Clooney die from a blindside shot or not?
Not really.
No,
Okay.
because
Okay.
Not a
you could
physical
argue he got blindsided by a giant bell falling on
Yes.
top of him.
or he got physically blindsided, not thinking that warrior and honor, I'm going to win that way, not realizing that Matthias could be a lot more creative.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And fight dirty.
As I say in martial arts, when I do take it, there is no such thing as a fight. No such thing as dirty fighting. It's a fight you win or it's a fight you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, who do we think is the dirtier fighter here?
Clooney.
Clooney or
Oh.
Valerian? Well,
Not even a question, Clooney.
Yeah.
do you think that Zwilt's swordsmanship would stand up against Clooney's experience and brutality?
I
I think
I
just
just
based on the fact that one technically probably has a bigger track record of winning, no, Clooney would.
yeah.
Fair.
And I mean, Matthias somehow was very good at sword fighting too, but Clooney just like grabbed a church rail and started like gouging at him.
Yeah.
Matthias is untrained at that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, he's got a bit of the Master Roshi magic going on, but
Yeah, he was quite good, like somehow.
well, Martin magic.
Martin Magic. Hashtag Martin Magic.
Yeah, Martin magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for Clooney.
I wasn't to, but I think I
I'm going
am.
for Clooney.
Clooney.
Oh no, here we
It's-
go.
It's unanimous. So, of course, this means we are going into the final round. The ultimate, not penultimate. That would be the one beforehand. This was the penultimate. The penultimate fight
The post
between
penultimate.
post penultimate. Yes, Sarmina versus Clooney.
Okay,
Oh
I just
boy.
want to say I didn't expect this to be where it ended up.
Neither did I.
Classics. Yeah.
At the
I'm
same
very
Is this
time,
a
happy.
I'm not
referendum?
surprised.
Yeah.
I'm very
Is this
happy
a
about it.
referendum on developments throughout the series, or just the arguments made?
I think it has to do with power scaling and how instead of the power creep that you see in a lot of stories where it's like, well, we gotta do better, gotta one up ourselves from last time. Brian actually kind of did the inverse where it feels like a lot of characters got weaker over time. Because if we look at the distribution, out of the 7 fights, 4 of them were from that first generation of books.
Mhm.
2 of them were from the middle generation, and only 1 was from the latter generation, that being Valea and Zwilt.
Mhm.
So Sarmina, Slagar, Farago, and Badring, and then of course Clooney getting the free pass. 5 of our 8 categories are just dominated by the first generation of books. So if you look at it that way, villains in Redwall actually get weaker over time. Fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think to be fair, if it was a Clooney versus like Gulo battle, but it's a lot more weighted equally.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
Clooney,
it's all matchups.
Clooney and Sarmina are pretty, I think, evenly sized. Maybe Sarmina's a little bigger.
To be fair, Sarmina doesn't use weapons more. She relies on her own natural claws.
Mhm.
Has a lot
Right.
more even most other wildcats we see. So my question to you all is she armed? Beyond her
Ooh.
We've never seen her armed before.
I'll give her this. in the Redwall friend info booklet that you could get years ago, it had the fold out poster.
Uh-huh.
The image of Sarmina in that poster has her kind of like an action pose. She has on a breastplate and full helmet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clooney has his like visored helmet with the bat wings, and then of course his tail. But unlike the cartoon, his purple-ish outfit has no breastplate with it. So we're going to say, just going off of that, an armored wildcat versus an unarmored rat, but with a poison barbed tail.
Okay. I mean, cats are very fast. So I think she could be able to dodge the tail. Maybe like could she cut the end off with her claws like Matthias did with the sword?
Oh.
I think that is a possibility. The question is, do we think she could catch his tail?
Well, going back into the real world, have you ever seen videos of like cats battling snakes? It happens. Like they're fast.
Cats are considered to be like the apex predator of the mammal world, so
Yeah.
But that may be a consideration
is-
too far.
it might be. Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, Clooney's clever guy. How would he take advantage of her and her idiosyncrasies?
Yeah.
Would he fight near water? Would he like try to get into her head somehow? Would he be like, "Hey, I'm Gingerveer"?
Huh?
I mean,
And I mean, we're not pulling Lord of the Rings where she can call on help from an eagle here. So
Right. Which you kind of did. But
Verbatim, yes.
yeah.
You know, the funny thing I just realized
If
is
you bribe Clooney
both
with a fabulous red coat.
Yes. Oh, that's a really good argument, actually.
I just realized both Clooney and Sarmina had their downfall thanks to Martin the Warrior.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was thinking, like, oh, this is gonna be hilarious if that was the case.
I know.
Okay. Let's just pit both of them against Martin the Warrior. Who's going down first?
That's a good question.
Oh, because it was a hard battle between Martin and Sarmina. Like it was real. Like Martin barely won.
I mean, yeah, Matthias
That's-
walked away pretty battered, to be certain, but he could walk away from that fight with Clooney at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Martin,
I think
oh no, he had brain damage.
Yeah.
what? The love of my life died. When did that happen?
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
I think just using that as a template, just each of these villains versus Mouse. I got to give my vote to Sarmina.
Me too.
Yeah, I was leaning that way too.
I disagree. I'm going to give it to Clooney. I think he's the overall smarter person, and he would. I mean, he's smart enough to recognize. We saw him. I mean, granted, forcibly sign up people into his army, but he's also smart enough to convince them by silver tongue as well. That said, Sarmina's whole thing was ruling by fear, and by the end of it, she was seeing desertions. So I'm going to give my vote to Clooney.
I guess no one ever deserted Clooney, did they?
Too afraid to.
True.
Yeah.
Too afraid.
Although we never saw that outright, oh, I'm too afraid to do this. It's more like they didn't consider it.
I mean, it's kind of implied, I think.
Yeah.
Neither of them had assassination attempts, except for in the animated series, but we don't talk about that.
What anime?
Yeah, we had the sniping thing, but that was Constance and the Beaver acting on their own accord.
Oh yeah, I meant within the army
within
itself.
ranks. Now, no one did try to kill Sarmina within her own ranks, I think.
No,
I don't
no one
think
tried to
so.
kill Clooney. No one tried to kill Sarmina. So there's that. I'm just like thinking.
At
As
best,
far
you
as-
could argue Bane had plans long term to get rid of her. So, but
Right.
those quickly became moot point.
Who thinks ahead more?
Sarmina kind
I
of always
think-
assumed she was invincible inside the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but at the same time, she was constantly looking for cracks in the defenses and her metaphorical armor. So, unlike Clooney, who I felt he had plans, but it was more like, how do I overcome this obstacle? Whereas Sarmina's plans were, okay, where would I invade from if I was going to invade?
Hmm.
Let's try this from another side. Because both the Woodlanders in both books were able to outthink and potentially outlast their opponent. If things kept going as they are instead of the dramatic end in each book, whose army would have basically starved or suffered exposure from winter first? Because to point this out, Clooney was living off the land. The Redwallers had perfectly safe water and food behind their gates. They were just had to keep repelling him every day. Sarmina, on the other hand, had pissed off the Woodlanders to the point that she could no longer gather supplies in forever, because literally the people who did provide her with food had turned against her. So while she certainly had stocks in larders, they weren't going to be forever.
They were already like fading by the time the story was over.
Yeah.
What was their source of water? Was it just did they have the underground lake? Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine trying to drink lukewarm gloomer water.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We don't need
Why
to
would
say
you say this-
more than that.
Why would you say those words out loud?
In that order, yeah.
It's a brand new sentence.
So long term, it's hard to say because Sarmina would have been starved out and would have had to surrender eventually, or her troops would have mutinied. But if Clooney couldn't have gotten it together by winter, Redwallers win. There's no way he can keep that going up during winter with no food, no supply lines, and so I may have just made it even more murky. Sorry.
Actually, I think there is one thing Sarmina could have done if the Quorum hadn't attacked when they did, and in the way that they did, and that was if she could have managed to have lured Argalor to a place where he could easily have been killed, that would have been a lot of fresh meat on the table. Just saying.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm just thinking like who keeps their head more in a crisis, and it seems like neither of them do, because when Clooney's plans fail, he goes into these rages, and so does Sarmina.
They're too used to winning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Clooney was literally taking burning bodies of rats that like the siege tower caught on fire because Cornflower like threw a lantern, and he was like throwing them back up onto the tower. So he kind of lost it a little bit.
This is very, very difficult.
Yes.
And I don't want to just like, oh, well, no, we've come to an agreement. This is obviously this, because it's like they seem very equally matched. Is it
Yeah.
possible they're functionally the same character, just with a different veneer over top?
They're not. That's not true.
Well, I mean, not literally, but like functionally from a well, if we look at the numbers, because for every area that we've considered so far, it feels like we're not getting a consensus of which one is superior, because they both seem to suffer from the same failings and also have very much similar levels of strength.
Okay, let's try it this way then. Who was better at seeing long-term threats and dealing with them? Because Sarmina certainly wasn't good at this. She if she had done nothing to Martin, like not breaking his sword and whatnot, Martin would have left, and that would have been the end of that. She
Mhm.
created her own worst enemy.
I would argue, though, that the exact same thing happened with Clooney, because he saw Matthias, be like, no, we're not going to let you stand here and do this. And then he saw the tapestry of Martin the Warrior, gets fixated, and then suddenly decides, nope, I got to have it.
Mm.
So Clooney sort of won before he got killed.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Clooney came closer to winning.
That might be the deciding variable for me. Like, if he had just, he all but won. So Sarmina never did.
But what was Sarmina's ultimate goal? I have to ask the question.
Domination of Musclower. So ruling as a queen. What else is there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
So-
track record Clooney. I was voting for Sarmina before this.
I think I'm going to switch to Clooney.
Yeah, you managed to sway me, at least in the not in every sense, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Clooney. So, final winner, Clooney, with
Right.
runner-up Sarmina.
The Scourge.
That was fun.
Now,
That was
here's
fun.
like last time. I want to do like the losers of the finals bracket, face them against each other. So that would be the Marl Foxes and Valea and Swilt.
Oof.
Who would win?
Ooh.
Because this feels like a more interesting fight.
Moral foxes. Here's my rationale. Again, I'm resorting to team tactics, but and the fact they've got natural camouflage, so I think they're smart enough to use that to their advantage. It just is infighting going to bring them down.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue the same about Falea and Swilt, both
Yeah.
being out for themselves. So, all things being equal, I think the Marl Foxes would probably do something along lines of, "Hey, there's somebody up ahead. Two of them, camouflage, go in stealthed, and then the rest come forward and, oh yeah, it's just us." And then when the opportunity strikes, cut them down from behind.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I would say the Marl Foxes.
I want to argue against it, but I don't have a good enough argument formed. And Moral Foxes are a lot more near dear to my heart.
Well, yeah.
I agree. There is a bias there.
Yeah, of course.
So, unanimously, Marl Foxes win. So the top 4 big bads are Clooney, Sarmina, the Marl Foxes, and Falea and Swilt. I'm surprised Sable Queen got as far as it did.
Me
Yeah.
too. I'm
Too.
kind of proud of it.
Yeah,
Good job, Sable Queen.
it's not the greatest story, but it's a fun
No.
story.
Yeah.
It's got some neat stuff going on. Especially in an era when things weren't quite as good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was fun. Not. I thought Slacker would go higher in Farago, but hey,
Me
it's
too.
fine.
Yeah.
Can't win them all.
No.
Yeah.
So that just means, what are we going to go to next once we get back inside the Abbey here? I mean, I know everyone's going to react usually to this, but April is approaching.
Indeed.
Ah!
And we just basically did a version, fan fiction light.
We did.
Yep.
But I think we missed Fanfiction 8 last year. I think we're overdue.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I can't do this again. You can't make me do this. I won't go back.
You're in too deep.
So, you can find us on recorderonthewall.com. We are on the major podcasting services, iTunes and YouTube podcasts. They keep changing it. Apparently, Netflix is showing podcasts now. I'm gonna have to look into
Oh.
that.
I saw that. I don't understand.
I don't know if
That's
it's
I don't either.
odd.
Obviously, we're on Spotify too. We do not have any new reviews, so unfortunately. So if you want a review, we would be happy to, always to change that if people want to do that. So, am I missing anything?
Reddit
You
and
can
forum.
send us an email.
Reddit.
Yeah,
forum.
Reddit forum.
And I really should give thought to starting up a Blue Sky for the podcast.
Okay. Sounds
Makes
good.
sense.
And we had a Twitter. We don't have a Twitter anymore because it will not. Well, there's a lot of reasons why I won't.
Yes.
We don't need to go into that because that's going to get political, and we don't need to.
So what you could say is we have an ex Twitter account.
Fanfiction 8's going to be fun with you.
I will be releasing every pun I have. You will not survive.
Oh, I'm not. I know what I'm getting myself into. Come on. So.
I'm rubbing my hands together with glee.
As am I.
Oh boy.
All right then. So is that everything? I believe.
Yes, I'm going to see if I can take my white cane and see if I can get the bar to the main gate to come up so we can get into the Abbey.
And then some Dibbins are going to be washing a lot of pans.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of pans. All right. Until then, I'm Pete.
I'm Matthias.
I'm Katie.
Brayden. Oh.
Oh,
We got
sorry.
it out.
And we'll see you next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.